throughout this workshop, and it's completely optional. If you want, you can participate. If not, you can sit back and relax. Just please don't fall asleep. Okay, so let me start off by saying that this is a tremendous honor to be here. This event, I think, is a wonderful opportunity for everybody to share, and we can learn from each other. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much. And I'm tremendously honored. Thank you so much for being here today. My workshop is called 7 Secrets for Success despite lockdown. Let me show. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, there it is. Is it visible for everybody? Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay, these are ideas, really. They are actions that we can implement in our sessions. You can implement 1 or 2 or all of them. I have done so in my 20 years of experience, and I have achieved positive results so far. And this is why I'm here today to share with you these ideas. And they are very simple, very humble actions that you can implement, but they will have a strong impact on your face-to-face classes as well as your virtual environment. So you can implement them in either situation that you are in. Right now, quickly in the chat, tell us, are you teaching online? Are you teaching face-to-face, or are you in a hybrid situation, or what is your situation now in teaching? Is it face-to-face or online?
I'm teaching online.
Okay.
All online here too.
100% online. Okay, interesting. Okay, very interesting. Almost everybody is teaching online, and it's a good thing because you are safe and your students are safe. So I think that's something that is that's good. But also, if you're teaching face-to-face, it's a luxury. It's actually a luxury to be able to be teaching face-to-face. So very interesting. Okay. It was Albert Einstein that said, creativity comes from anxiety as the day comes from the dark night. In crisis emerges the best in each of us. These are very powerful words from Albert Einstein. Please, right now, I would love to hear your opinion. Do you agree with this? Why or why not? Okay. Yes, I agree too. It depends on our attitude. It depends on how we are facing this situation, how we are getting through it. Yes. Very interesting. Leo says, I disagree. Why, Leo? Why? Tell us. Share with us.
Thanks. I believe it comes from inspiration, not necessarily anxiety. So inspiration can come from positive or negative um, context, and anxiety it's mostly negative. So I believe it comes from inspiration.
Yes, I agree too. Inspiration, creativity. Very good. Yeah, it comes from inside of us. Good, guys. I can't see. Very interesting. And it's true. Anxiety is a strong force. Necessity is the mother of invention. Very good.
I'm sorry.
Inspiration.
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's because I was disconnected. But well, in my case, anxiety has been a source of inspiration, like they said, and a source of, looking for new ways to improve in order to become, more. I myself was pretty demotivated from from teaching online, and I found in my anxiety a source of inspiration to look for another ways, to become more inspired, or to become, to be motivated to teach online.
Wow, Maite, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. We're going to be talking about that strength that you found within yourself. It's very interesting. Thank you so much for your participation, Maite, and everybody. I thank you. Very interesting. And it can be, yes, the context, it's very important. Our context, the context of the teacher, the context of the students, the school. Very, very true. Carlota has your hand. Yes?
Yes, yes.
Carlota.
Yes, I wanted to say something about anxiety. Naturally, I'm very anxious person. I usually stress, get stressed with the, like commitments. And this new situation caused me a little bit of anxiety, but anxiety is like an impulse in my case, because I can't go to bed if I haven't done what I was supposed to do during the day, like looking for information, games, or applications to teach what I need to teach the next day. So in this case, it has been good to be anxious, because it triggers these actions and this research for me. So it hasn't been bad at all. So I think it's a good thing to be anxious in this situation. But when I have everything under control, I calm down and I just relax. I think that I'm going to be less stressed when this is going to be, almost over. That is now that I have everything under control. But I've been a little bit stressed the whole pandemic period. Yes.
Yes, Carlota is right. Each one of us as teachers, each one of our students are undergoing, getting through this situation differently. And I think with that, if it works, whatever works so far, here we are. We're here together. We're here in this wonderful event, and I think we're doing something right. So far, so good. That thank you so much for your participation, Carlota. And yes, it's good. I think this is a force that works for us. And if it works for us, that, hey, that's great. Actually, quality right now is is at risk because of this crisis. And these activities, no, it was UNESCO that said that the quality education is at risk during this time. So we need to deal with it as teachers. We need to face this crisis. Okay, right now I would like for you to share with us in the chat. How are you dealing with this? Some of you already mentioned. Okay. Very interesting. Sometimes C, but mostly B. Good. Who was that? Carlota? No. Good, Carlota. This is something that is true. Good. Mase, need to balance. Good. A balance is good. Ups and downs, Jimena. That's so true. That is so true. One day we can be A, but then there are those B days, and then there are those C days. It's so true. It depends on the day too. Good. Good. Very interesting. Good, guys. Yeah, it's true. Despite having no prior experience in digital environments, teachers are showing initiative in general. In general, I think this is a good thing. Teachers are quickly discovering the boundless pedagogical resources that technology offers. And Nielsen says that technology allows us to move beyond substitution and actually redefines learning. So yeah, it's true. Very good. Okay, so I will present to you these 7 ideas. They are simple, but they are effective. Okay. If you implement them in your practice, they can bring forth optimal impact on the strengths of your students and to become a better learners. So the first one, let me see if I can. Yes. The first thing that I invite my students to do through in different ways is I invite them to look to the future. It was Lodwin, Asawali, and Nimek that say learning around mindfulness and positivity enables teachers to bring forth an optimal impact on the strengths of the students. We need to encourage our students to look to the future, to have vision. Yes. It was Nelson Mandela, action without vision is only passing the time, but vision without action is daydreaming. But vision with action can change the world. So yes, I invite you to unleash the power of motivation. Do you motivate your students? Yes. Here are some ideas that maybe you know about, I'm sure you do. One of the things that I like to use a lot in my classes, when I assign homework, I send them a quote, maybe an inspirational quote by somebody famous, by a famous author, by a famous person. And for them to get inspired. Another idea that I like to implement is some kind of visualization activity. It can be something a little, complex. I don't know if, does anybody know what the top image is? A visualization activity. I call it a collage, but I don't know if anybody knows what the real name is. Yes, vision board. Thank you, Idea. Vision board. We don't have to get so complex, get too complicated and talk about vision boards unless you want to. But you can have an idea for an activity, visualization activity can be something complex. You can say, for example, you're looking at parts of the house, you're looking at furniture. Okay, guys, for the end of the week, or you have 2 weeks, make a collage. Make a collage and talk about your dream house. Yes, I want you to find pictures, the colors, the decoration. How are you going to decorate your dream house? Something like that. You can ask them to do. This is a visualization activity, and they love to do these kind of things. And some even go out of their way and even make it in a 3D format. I don't know. But use it, make your dream house. If you're looking at, this is what, an idea. Or it can be something simple, very simple. The other day we were looking at items of clothing, and we were talking about cold weather, warm weather clothes. And in that moment, a few minutes to the end of the class, okay, guys, we're going to pack a bag. We're going to pack a bag. Friday, we're all going to the beach. Pandemic is over. And in the future, talking about the future, we're going to the beach. Right now in the chat, write down the list so you don't forget anything. And we're all going to the beach. And they love to do it on the chat. They were, hey, teacher, how do we say chanclas? And how do we say, bikini? And they love it. And it's simple exercises, or you can make them a little bit more complex, such as a vision board. But visualization is wonderful. And the other day I was in one webinar. They talk about powerful images. Use them as visualization activity. Other ideas, for example, you can use videos. Videos of motivation that inspire. We can use 3 minutes, 2 minutes in the class. We can use these videos. There are some very powerful ones that really help to inspire and to motivate the students. But I think we get also, we benefit from these activities too. Another idea, maybe songs. There are some songs that have beautiful, powerful messages. Try to use those that have a positive message. Affirmations also we can use. We can use phrases that can boost our motivation, such as the one that is here. I don't know if you can read it or you can see it here. Reminding the students that they're on the right track, that they are in class, and that these actions will lead to something positive. This phrase that I have here is, today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow that you want, and remind them that they are on the right track, and this will have a very powerful impact. It will boost their performance. Okay, guys, right now in the chat, if you wish, I invite you to share with us other ideas. Share with us how you like to motivate your students. What are some of the ways that you like to do? Let's see, quotes. Okay. Oh yeah, funny memes is wonderful. Humor is excellent. Humor. Mhm. Through games, wonderful. Quotes, video, songs, great. Mhm. Very good. Games and videos. Mhm. Great, guys. Stories. I don't know if you guys are also a very powerful source is a story. Talk about a story, talk about somebody they may know, maybe a former classmate, maybe somebody that from a generation from the past, maybe a story where they have overcome obstacles and they are now working, or they are now in, they won a scholarship, maybe a powerful story that can also help. Good, guys. Mhm. Yes, something meaningful to them. Yeah, very good. Cartoons, those are wonderful. Great, guys. Thank you so much. Your participation really is going to enrich this activity. Great. Icebreakers, good. Interactive activities. Good, guys. These are wonderful ideas. Word games. Mhm. It's very important. Things that students can manipulate. They can even do them from their home, from their wherever they are, and they can do these kind of activities, especially the kinesthetics. Good, guys. Yeah, they really motivate. Good, guys. Kahoot. Good, guys. Good. Okay. Thank you so much. The next idea that comes to my mind is to foster closeness. For example, we use closeness not in a personal sense, but academic. Yes. According to Vargas Madriz, closeness is indeed essential in education. That even online, we repeatedly find ourselves in a continuum of closeness to others. I think this idea centers around social and emotional learning and self-awareness. Yes, we need to determine our learner needs. Yes, and there are many ways. This in order for us to get to know our students. I think it's very important in order to determine these needs, these learner needs. The first one I think is to determine what kind of intelligence or what kind of strengths our students have, or our students, what kind of learners are they, or what kind of multiple intelligence they have. Yes. Are they more logical, mathematical? Are they musical? What kind of intelligence they have? Let's see. Also, a teacher who knows her students knows, or the students know about it themselves, they are self-aware of their strengths. What are their strengths? But also what are their weaknesses? Yes, it's important to know this. I think that a teacher who knows her students or his students will always have an effective session. Yes. So it's an important thing to do to foster this closeness. Now, here are some ideas of how we can get to know our students. We can ask them, to choose, ask them for their opinion. Yes. Maybe may have a session where you all get to decide the next activity that they will have or the next project. Ask them to choose or ask them, to negotiate rules. Of course, the teacher will have the control or the final say, but maybe a rule that you can decide on. Yes, ask them to choose. And we can use, for example, debates. Yes, debates will also help them to talk about themselves, to talk about what their wishes are. There's surveys also. Ask them to give you feedback. This will also foster closeness. And opinion polls. These are also important. We want to listen to our students. We want them to feel that they have a voice. So this will also boost their learning. This will also help them. Another another action that we can implement is to keep a safe environment. Is important to foster a safe environment where they feel safe. Younger students, maybe I love the idea of how do you feel today? How are you feeling today? And they can use emojis. We can use them with kids, but we can also use them with university level students. How are you feeling today? Foster this closeness. They love it. Sometimes students will tell me, teacher, you're the only one that asks us. You're the only one that is interested in how we are feeling. Maybe talk about vocabulary. Get them to know what it feels like. What it means to be charmed or crushed, sorrowful. I don't know. Use this kind of vocabulary. Many times they don't even know that these expressions exist. Mm-hmm. Memes also, funny memes, humor will also foster this closeness, and it will help us to provide a safe environment, an environment where they feel welcome. Okay, so right now in the chat, which tools would you use or do you use to get your students' input about different things about the session? It can be about the sessions, it can be about the activities you do. How do you get your students to participate? How do you get your students to have a voice? Oh, I love it. Mentimeter. Good. And WhatsApp. WhatsApp is wonderful. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Jamboard. Those are nice. Surveys. Good. What else do you use for your students to have a voice? Idea. El modo. Nice. A wellness check. Oh, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Google Forms. Yolanda, nice. Google Forms, I think that's a very friendly tool to use. Oh, wow, it's a Flipgrid. Mm-hmm. Good, guys. Yeah, it's important for our students to have a voice. They will definitely these actions will have a positive impact on their learning because they are able to have a voice and they are able to somehow feel part of what they're doing, what you are all doing, as a team with your students. Fast poll, nice. These are great. Some of these I have never heard of, to be honest, but we need to thank you so much for sharing. Mhm. So Microsoft and Google Forms, good. Citlali, thank you. Kahoot says Fernanda, Padlet. Mhm. Profile picture, showing their mood, good. Thank you, Carlota. The chat in Zoom. Mhm. Thank you, Flor, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Ale says, I use Padlet, good. Let's go on to the next one. The next idea, yes, is discipline. Discipline is number 3. John Maxwell said, small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements. Now, these ideas about discipline, the discipline centers around the social emotional learning component, which is resilience or willpower. Does anybody know, or what do you think of when you think of willpower? Okay, so in the chat or in the microphone, if you wish, I would love to hear what you think is willpower. What do you know about willpower? Alejandro says a strong desire to do something. Good. An idea, clear and strong desire to do something. Intrinsic, excellent, intrinsic motivation. Student self-encouragement towards achieving a specific goal. A mindset, says Ignacio, nice. Wanting and having a commitment, wonderful. Carlota, being in charge of a situation that you are willing to do. This is true, ownership is important. Being in charge. Improving myself, something I want to do. This is great. I love it, Fernanda. Wonderful. Improve myself. They say that it's not important to be better than somebody else. What is important is to be better than yourself, your prior self, your former self. Good, guys. Ability to set a goal and achieve it. Self-decision to do something with value. Adriana, very good. Miranda, good. Achieve goals. Wonderful. Motivation. From me to me. That's all. Nobody else is necessary. Good. Thank you, Fer. Convince yourself to do something that is necessary. Yeah, it doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be for anybody else. It should be for yourself. This is so true. A drive. I love it. The drive that you have to do something, to focus on your goal. Correct myself from the past. Thank you, Dani. Yeah, the power of the will, the desire, that. Exactly. To self-regulate is so true. To determine what you want to do, what you need to do to get it. Everybody here has had this, has done this. Yes. And that's why we are here today. We have gotten through difficult times, and we kept going, and today we are here. And now we need to transmit this idea to our students. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. But we need to control ourselves. The students have the power. The students have it, it's up to them to control your actions, your emotions, to get what you want. Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. Now, here are some ideas. We can use some of these ideas to implement, to foster discipline in our sessions. It's important to establish a routine, yes, and to stick to it. This will hold, we can use things like SMART goals. Does anybody know or has anybody ever worked with SMART goals? And what are they? Mm-hmm. Yes, I don't know if anybody has ever heard of SMART goals. They are specific. A goal should be measurable. Yes, you can be able to measure it. You can be able to see how you have had progress. Yes, it's an acronym. The first specific. It should be something that is, we can focus on one specific goal at a time. Also, it should be measurable. We can be able to see the progress that we have in each of them. It should be attainable, something that is within our reach. And they say, well, it's a good idea to have small goals that will eventually lead on to a much bigger one. But having small goals that are attainable day to day. You know, what are you going to do today to reach your goal? It should be relevant. You know, it should be something that is important to you. Like you said, it's something that is for you, not to show off, not to be, and it should be something that comes from you. It should be relevant to you. And it should be something that is time bound. Yes, you can use a planner, you can use day to day. What did you do today? What did you do this week, this month? And we should focus on our accomplishments. What have we accomplished? So these are some ideas that you can implement in your class. Good, guys. Yeah, discipline it should be something that we do in our class. It will build a good rapport to establish this routine. Maybe you can set up the rules together, yes, and let their opinion be heard, let their voice be heard. And something that is very motivating is feedback, focusing on accomplishments that are attained day by day. Also, remind them about their efforts, that they will pay off. They are more focused. And also it helps us as teachers, you know, to have this plan, but also have a plan B in case, you know, anything could happen. Your internet can fail, the students, and, you know, have a plan B from the beginning, you know, in case we don't see each other. This is what we're going to be working on in this week, you know, and that, you know, let it be known, you know, let your students know what, you know, the objectives are. And it's a good idea for this component of discipline. Which leads me to the next one, which is number 4. Number 4 has a lot to do with the rest, is time. I think time is the most valuable of all resources, you know, especially class time, you know, even if it feels like an eternity. Yes, our class time together is limited. So we should have, we should use this time to our advantage. We should use this time wisely, planning our objectives, but also having short-term goals. Some ideas are to use maybe a group calendar. Yes. Using, yes, it does have a lot to do with our goals, our SMART goals. Good. One of the things that I find, you mentioned it, a couple of you mentioned, a few of you mentioned it, is through games. I think games are a wonderful way to make the most of time. First of all, it's fun. Students love to play games. And it's also a situation where it's win, win, win. Everybody wins. As teachers, as students. And I think gamification is one of the best tools that we have. Each one of you has a favorite favorite games that you use, that you love to use with your students. Make them part of your class, but also make it part of your session, your week, but also make it a surprise. The element of surprise will always, they will always appreciate this. And as a review or as an assessment, the teacher is able to determine the acquisition, the second language acquisition. We can determine through these games and have an idea of how they're performing, how they are performing. So, like I say, gamification is a win-win-win situation, and I think it benefits. It's a good way to use time wisely. Let's see. According to this author McConaughey, the 10 positive emotions in games are curiosity, creativity, surprise, fun, thrill, satisfaction, pride, admiration, and passion. Mm-hmm. Okay. Another thing that we can consider when we are using games, use them to our advantage, is, to assess them or to determine how they are doing, is also to give them a way of having a fair chance to win. We have different students, we have with different intelligences, but also with different types of learning. We can also use different games throughout our sessions, so they each have a fair advantage. Like we can use some visuals. These are old school, I know, but we have like puzzles, and for the kinesthetic students, we have the Legos. But there are so many other games that we can use online. Many of you mentioned Kahoot. I think that was one of the most fun. But right now, guys, think of, Juan Manuel is answering 20 questions guessed by the sound. For the auditory, I love it. Okay, so right now, please, in the chat, share with us if you have some games that we can use for our visual students. They can be online, they can also be face-to-face, they can be through the microphone, like the 20 questions, guess the sound. What other games we have? I don't know, Jeopardy. We have different games that we can use. Nice, Ileana. Which ones for our kinesthetic learners? How do we give them a fair advantage so they can also win? Maybe when it's time for the logical, mathematical, the verbals, they have their strengths. But also let's also help our kinesthetic learners, also help our visual learners, so it can be fair, and they would love to participate. Jamboard in Teams, drawing graph online. Okay. Gartic phone. That's fun. Good ones. Good games. Good ideas. Guess the picture. Ah, that sounds a good one. That sounds interesting. Mhm. Breakout rooms. Wonderful. Okay, ask them to bring something from in there. Particular characteristic, colors, size. Nice, Danny. Thank you. These are great ideas. Mhm. Real objects, cards. They can show it on the camera. I love that. Yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. I love it. Julieta says, Simon says for kinesthetic learners. Flippity. I haven't used that one. Flippity. Hangman. These are great. Memorama. I like that. These are great ideas, guys. This is going to be so enriching for everyone. Okay, Sidlali in your pod. Okay, we got to look into that. I've never used it. Kahoot is nice, good. Thank you, guys. This is going to be very, very enriching. Yes, and these games, I tell you, it's a win-win-win situation. They're fun. I think the teacher is the one that has the most fun, laughing at her students. I think it's just so fun to have games in the class, games in online too. The element of surprise, the students really appreciate this element of surprise, make it a surprise. They love that. And make it engaging for everybody, for all our different learners, our learner types, and make it engaging for everybody. Okay, RPG. What is that, RPG? Yeah, it's engaging. It's a wonderful way to engage our students in the class. A wonderful way for us to have fun as a group. Great, guys. Thank you so much for your ideas. Okay, let's go on to the next one. My number 5 is simplify. We need to have our instructions. It's much more difficult than it sounds. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's not. In order for our students, to understand what is expected of them, we need to simplify, and it's a lot more difficult than it sounds. It's a lot more difficult to offer clear instructions in written form, in a video, however you wish to communicate the instructions with your students. We should try to make it as clear as possible, and easy to follow, user-friendly. I think it's something that we should consider is to simplify our and what we try to work with them. It doesn't mean to give up quality. No, I think quite on the contrary, we need to simplify, but to be selective. Yes, to be selective. with our sessions. We need to be selective with our materials, but also with our tasks that we ask our students to do. Some of them are undergoing tremendous stress, very, very difficult situations. So we need to be as accessible as possible using maybe a checklist. Teacher, what homework haven't I submitted? Make it very clear, you know, that the checklist is on somewhere where you can all access it. Use a checklist so they know what they have and they are pending, but also choose quality over quantity. Okay, so this is something that I try to use in the classes, so everything is as clear as it can be, you know. Number 6, the next one. What do these companies all have in common? Okay, so right now in the chat. Yes, Paulina, easy to use, good. They share a service, good. They are easy to use. Yeah, you guys are, yeah, that's very good, very good. They offer a service online. Everybody uses them. We use them. Our students use them. Good, Leo. It's so true. The pandemic has a lot to do with pandemic. Yes. They make our lives easier. They also give us entertainment. Yeah. They helped us. Many of these companies helped us get through our pandemic situation. They helped us, each of us and our students and our loved ones. We all got help from these companies. They changed the rules. Thank you. I think you guys are you are guessing what the answer is. Also, Irina, they make a lot of money. They are profiting. Yeah, but they also helped us get through all of this. They are helping us getting through all of this. Yes. Does somebody want to participate on the mic? On the microphone is fine. You use Spotify. Good. Thank you, Idea. They make millions of dollars, says Patrick. Good. Oh, Irina, nice. You have a platinum, premium and free options. Nice. It's so true. Yeah, and I think you guys nailed it. What these have in common with us as teachers is the ability to adapt. And yes, all of these things that you say, Marisa and Irene, they adapted. They adapted. They are now making millions of dollars, but they chose to adapt. And I think as teachers, I think our work ethic is something that is so interesting. How throughout the pandemic, teachers have adapted. Teachers have found a way to connect with their students, and we have adapted to the situation. So it's very interesting. It's interesting because we found the way to be flexible. It's important to be flexible. It's important to adapt to the situation. No matter how difficult it is, we need to adapt. We need to evolve. Times are changing, yes, and the world is constantly evolving. So in order to succeed, we need to adapt. In order to succeed, we need to continue evolving and adapting to this situation. And this idea is directly not in education, it is from Harvard Business. You know, their rule when there is a black swan crisis or a VUCA, I think it's called a VUCA crisis. What is their first rule is to stay close to the client, to be close to the client. And all of these and more of them, these companies have done exactly that. They never left the side of a client. They never left them. They on the contrary, they served the client. They were close to the client. They never left our side. And that's why they are part of our life. And that's why they are making millions of dollars, because they know this rule is to stay close to your client and to adapt. And this is where it's important for us as teachers to really, really see the importance of this empathy, you know, to be empathetic with our students, not to let them not do work. On the contrary, we need for them to work, and we need to work with them, you know, to help them to get through, to have success in the class. So we do need to be to foster empathy in the class with our students. We need to be close to them. You know, we need to know what their needs are. We need to know what their strengths are, but also what their weaknesses are. We need to also find ways for them to be able to succeed and to I don't know, submit their work through different ways, user-friendly ways, depending on where they are. Some of them are very far away. They have, you know, very little communication. So we need to foster ways for them to be able to succeed and to have their work submitted. Many of them are working. Many of them are having difficult situations. So tailor various, you know, ways for them to be able to succeed. Because we do want them to have a you know, success in our class. Let's see. And this will be number 7. This is going to be the last one. Investment. Yes, invest. The best investment that you can make on is in yourself. Yes. For example, training. I think training is an investment that pays off, but it involves investment in time and effort. Training also is an investment in energy. Some cases it will be a financial investment, but many tutorials, there are many tutorials out there, webinars that are free. So it's not necessarily an investment in money. Another idea is our hardware, our software. Many of you are using different apps and different tools. I hope we can save all of this wonderful list of tools that we can use. And I think it's something that we can think about investing in. Also, networking. This, for example, is a wonderful opportunity for us to network, to share our ideas, and to exchange, you know, to exchange ideas about technology, about apps. So this is a wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Carlota. 3 minutes. Let's see. So right now, think about think about ways that you can adapt these ideas in your class. Okay, talking about training, talking about empathy, closeness with our students. Right now in the chat, think about different ways that you can implement these ideas in the classes that you have maybe, or in your future classes. I would love to hear your ideas. What are some of the ways that you can adapt your sessions to this situation? Okay, so right now in the chat. Do you at this moment use these ideas? Are there some that you feel that maybe you can work on a little more? What are some of these ideas that you can use to adopt in your classes? It can be centering around the idea of resilience. It can be centered around empathy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, Carlota, you have your hand up.
Yes, adapting is our task, our main task, because lots of things are not produced for our classes. I am currently teaching English literature, introduction to English literature. And since I don't have enough time for having them to read a whole book, because we have to see, from the 17th century to the contemporary literature. So what I do is to use Netflix or YouTube movies, free downloadable, for them to see, like the Scarlet Letter, or like the last one that we saw actually was Carrie, that is based on a novel of Stephen King, because we are talking about contemporary English. So yes, we have to adapt, regular programs and that are in English, or regular things that you can adapt for teaching English, or for teaching subjects in English.
Thanks, Carlota. Anybody else have something they want to share with us? Maybe an experience that they have had during this pandemic? Feel free to talk about it. Feel free to share. I think it enriches. Sharing will always be like caring, always. Yes, Julieta.
Yes, for me, for me, for example, giving them some time to talk about how they are feeling or what has changed in their lives, because I had a surprise in this period of pandemic. One of my students said that she couldn't be on class because she was going to go to the doctor. I didn't ask any further questions, but what happened is that she had a baby. So like the next class she got online, she was like, "Oh, teacher, sorry, I have my baby. I have my microphone off because he's crying sometimes." And I was like, "When did you have a baby? I didn't even know about it." So we don't know what's going on with our students, and they are going through situations of change, and some for good, some for bad. But I think allowing them some time to share and to ask to show that we care about them and want to know what's going on with their lives, that's something that we can do.
Mm-hmm. Julieta, you are so right. I love what you said. We don't know what is going on in their life, but when we give them the opportunity to share, they love it. It really, really helps in our session. It becomes meaningful. The learning becomes meaningful, and they love it. They love to share what is going on with their lives. It makes it meaningful, like you mentioned, like some of you mentioned. Thank you, Julieta.
Can I
Does
mention
anybody
something
else
on
have
that?
a story?
Can I mention
Yes.
something on that? Yeah, very, I mean, I feel like very identified with what Julieta said, because we had a reunion, you know, this academy reunion. I'm the president of the fourth semester academy. So, and we actually ask for the students who have been like irregular to be there in the reunion. We wanted to talk to them because they haven't been like doing their homeworks, I mean, on time, and or have been absent for many classes with different teachers and everything. So it happens the same. I mean, I'm, like the first semester we started with the online teaching. I knew that one of my students was pregnant, so I knew she had the baby. But then she started talking there, and because she had been irregular, not, and we said, well, okay, having a baby, I mean, I know it's demanding, but I mean, you have to be able to cope with everything, and because many of the other teachers are moms and they work and whatever, so we were trying to you know, to lead the path through that type of conversation. But she actually started to say that her husband, I mean, I suppose they are a young couple too, her husband also was diagnosed with cancer while she was pregnant, and that they have been struggling like economically, and that of course she has no money to pay the internet, and I mean, a lot of different things that of course happened. I mean, it's gonna happen when you have someone, I mean, that is sick. And she started to cry later, and I was like, really, you know, like touched, because we didn't know anything about it, and she hadn't, I mean, talked about that to anybody. I mean, we have talked to her about her, you know, her absences and her lack of commitment. I mean, what we were seeing, but she actually didn't tell us that all of that was happening behind her. And so we were actually kind of sorry, because maybe we misjudged her. But like you said, when you see your students every day, I mean, you kind of notice that something's happening. But when you don't see them, it's like, I mean, you just think they are, you know, like Olga saliendo, like, I'm not going to do anything. But that was a really, you know, and actually one of the teachers advised her, like, okay, you know, I think you cannot do anything at the same time, and you are dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of problems right now, so maybe it's a good time for you to take a time off, and, you know, like, darse de baja and whatever. So I mean, actually he advised that to her. But I mean, it's up to you. But I mean, because we have, of course, to we have to, I mean, you have to be there in the classes, and you will have the absences and everything for the courses, and it's something that they are asking for us to report. But we didn't know anything about that, so we were actually kind of, I mean, we felt like really like bad for her, because I mean, she's having a terrible time during the pandemic, and we didn't know anything about it.
Maite, you are so right. We're not aware of what is going on in their lives. They're undergoing so many situations that we are not aware of. And it's so true. We need to foster this empathy with them. And also, it's something that is interesting too, that sometimes our class is the only piece that they find. So it also works both ways. Us doing our work, doing our little routine, our establishing our little discipline, our little a routine or whatever, it also helps them, especially if they're undergoing a stressful moment. They even say, you know, they even get on the class to relax. Sometimes it's the only time they are able to relax in face to face, and now in the virtual. We don't know what's going on in their homes. Sometimes in the classroom is the only time that they are able to be safe, that they are in an environment where they feel welcome, where they feel peace. That I have seen also. And yeah, but they are undergoing sometimes tremendous stress, and some situations that are so difficult. It's so true. Thank you, Maite, for sharing that with us. Does anybody else want to share some experience? In the chat, there is some, let's see. Ideas, yes. You agree, says Idea. Irina is talking about simplifying homework. Good. If anybody wants to comment or to talk about a situation or talk about an experience, something that maybe that you have learned through this pandemic situation, through this stressful moment, what strengths have you learned? What strength that you learned that you had that you were not aware that you had? And it was through this pandemic situation that maybe you found out about these strengths that you have. Would anybody like to talk about that? What have you learned during the pandemic? Did you learn anything new? What are the things that you have learned? Maybe they were hidden talents that you had that you didn't know. Maybe now that you know that you are an expert Netflix watcher or something. What is something that you learned about yourself?
Well, hi. Or hi, Patricia.
Hello.
Something that I've learned is not to judge. If the student says that they are sick, that they have got to go to the doctor, or that they've had a problem, I have learned to listen and to help them with whatever I can or however I can. We have to be empathetic. And if they are not telling the truth, because this also came to a point where, are they really telling the truth? Did they really not have internet? Or is it just an excuse that they're making? So I learned that it's not on my side if they are lying or they're not telling the truth. I cannot judge them. I cannot be the judge of it. So I just accept and I help in whatever way I can. I offer my help and I try to make them as comfortable as possible. Okay, but they do have to face consequences at the end with their grades, obviously. But that's what I have learned, not to judge and to just believe whatever they say. And it's not my fault if they don't, if they are not telling the truth, because that buggled me a lot. Thank you.
Yes, I think we are all in this situation. Should I let it go? Should I accept the work? I think it's like you said. I think what you said I think it's perfect. It's not up to me to judge. I think we can be fair and just accept the work. Of course, with the consequences, it's not going to be worth 100%. But yes, I think it's important to accept, as long as they are working, they are undergoing different situations. We are not there to judge. It's going to be a waste of our time in order for us to be, I don't know, investigating or whatever. No, be fair, set the rules from the beginning. And I think it's not up to us to judge, but to accept, to also work together, not work against. As long as they are working, even if it's late, it's not going to be worth 100%. Like you said, it's not, they're going to face the consequence, but it's not going to be worth 100%. I think that's the fair thing to do. Not worth 100%, but yes, I think it's important to accept. Yes, Carlota? Thank you so much for your participation.
Yes. Well, what I do is to talk to them when somebody says, oh, Anita had a problem. She couldn't be in the video conference because she's having problem with internet and that. And I said, okay, I remind you that I still have my WhatsApp. You can send me messages so I know the situation and we can work it out. In case you are asked to do any task in the platform, because we have to ask them to upload one task on the platform we use. one at least every week. So what I do is to talk directly to the student and to let them know that for me, the attendance is not, it has never been that important. I do it because the administration asks me to take the role, but I don't think it's important. What I let them I let them know and I let them clear is that if they don't attend the class, they won't learn. The importance of being there is not the attendance, the percentage of attendance. I never leave them without a test. What I let them know is, okay, if you don't come, you don't learn. That's the only problem. But you are going to be able to present your test and you are going to upload your tags. Of course, they are not going to be graded in 100% basis, but the problem is not that you don't have a test or don't have a grade. The problem is that you don't learn. That is a problem. So I basically let them, like present exams and present the tags, but they should know that it's not important just to say here or present.
Oh, yeah.
The importance of being there is to learn. Thank you.
It's so true. Carlota, you are so right. It's not up to us. Sometimes we tell them, okay, you're going to come to the session and you're going to learn. But there are students who are, because of necessity, they are forced to work on their own. They are too far away. They are in remote areas. And the student who is willing to work, or the student who wants to succeed, we can't stop them. Even though they are far away, they have no internet, they find a way. And we also have the other ones that they are there, but they are not, they're doing something else, or they're, so we have all the different situations. The important thing, I think, is like you said, they should be able to demonstrate that they have learned. And this is what is important for us too as teachers, that we can demonstrate, that we can find that they have learned either in our live sessions, maybe on their own, in an independent form, an asynchronous form, and they find a way to succeed. And I think that's the important thing, is to find a way and to adapt. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, let's see. I think it's time for us to finish. I only have one more, which was number 7, which was the investment that you can make in yourself. And I found that we need to invest in our time, in our training. We need to invest in our tools, our hardware, our software. Some of you use different networking, apps, programs, and these are wonderful. But also, there is something that we, in conclusion, there is something that we cannot learn on any course, in any training, and that is the teacher's intuition. We should innovate. We should find new tools. We should find new ways of doing things, but we should use our intuition. Also, it's important to use our creativity. Our creativity is important too. That is something that nobody can teach us. Also, our experience of 1 year, of 6 months, of 20 years. So I think we should also innovate using what we already know, just using new tools, using new ways, adapting. And I think that's the conclusion that I have learned. Yes, our training is going to help us to enhance, to combine, and to complement, and to innovate, to do something that we already know how to do in a new way. Okay, so that is my conclusion. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Thank you very much, Patricia, for your talk. I think we are almost out of time. So I will just like to thank you again for sharing your knowledge and sharing your 7 secrets for success despite lockdown. I think it was very enriching for all of us. And I thank the audience for such an enriching participation. Everyone asked very interesting questions and they share their reflections, their experiences, now teaching online, okay? So on behalf of the Benemérita y Centenaria Escuela Normal de Jalisco, we would like to present you with this certificate of participation, which reads as follows, okay? I'm going to share my screen. Benemérita y Centenaria Escuela Normal de Jalisco otorga la presente constancia a Patricia Ochoa Tristán por su valiosa contribución como ponente del taller 7 Secrets for Success Despite Lockdown, en el marco de Congreso Nacional de Formadores C en Escuelas Normales 2021, Guadalajara, Jalisco, 11 de junio del 2021. Thank you
so
again,
much.
Patricia.
Thank you. And thank you all for sharing your ideas also. It is very enriching for us to share in this community. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Patricia, for sharing your knowledge. And we invite the audience to continue participating in the next events. At 12, we have some research reports and poster presentations. Hopefully you can join some of them. Thank you very much again for your time, and I hope to see you in other presentations. Have a good day.